ATHEX as a forward-looking and competitive European exchange, even a regional leader, and an active supporter ultimately of the Greek economy. The remarkable recovery of the Athens Stock Exchange over the last 2-3 years represents a strong opportunity for deeper economic ties between the two countries. There's certainly potential to further expand our economic relationship, and the Athens Stock Exchange can play a key role in facilitating this growth. The Greek capital market could facilitate, for example, further investment by providing financing tools or infrastructure products, share capital increases, and new listings of companies in which Chinese entities have a stake.
雅典资本市场前些年受到债务危机的影响，是全球最为波动的股市之一。但近年希腊积极推动改革，资本市场迎来飞跃。过去3年，希腊雅典股市大幅上涨，而中国和希腊在各个领域已经有大量合作，是否可以进一步推动金融和资本市场合作？今天我对话雅典交易所集团首席执行官 Yianos Kontopoulos。Mr. Kontopoulos, thanks for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
We know that amendments has been made to ATHEX regulation regarding the development of Greek capital market. So what are the changes and what is the purpose of making these changes?
Okay. Yes, indeed. In 2023, we initiated a comprehensive restructuring of the ATHEX main market rulebook. The changes implemented concerned both listed companies and those seeking to be listed, and aim to enhance the prestige of our main market through a more modern and streamlined set of regulations. Our objective is to attract new companies to the Athens Stock Exchange, increase trading activity, and ultimately create a more attractive investment profile for our listed companies. This initiative basically marks the most extensive and significant revision since the first operating regulation of the Athens Stock Exchange was published back in 2004. One of the key changes in the new rulebook is the introduction of a minimum free float requirement. Companies with a market capitalization below 200 million must have a minimum free float of 25%, while those above 200 million may be considered with a minimum of 15%. This measure aims to boost trading activity and maintain sufficient liquidity. Additionally, companies are required to sustain the minimum free float continuously after listing. In addition, the new rulebook introduces a minimum market capitalization requirement of 40 million for companies wishing to list on our main market. This ensures that only companies of sufficient size are listed on the main market, while also strengthening the ATHEX alternative market as an attractive option for dynamic companies with smaller capitalizations. As mentioned, these changes are designed to create a more robust, liquid, and attractive marketplace for both companies and investors, and to position ATHEX as a competitive and prestigious exchange in the European market.
Chinese audience may not be very familiar with the Athens capital markets. So could you also give us some history and background of the development of your capital market, and also in particular of Athens Stock Exchange?
It was established in 1876, and it is one of the oldest stock exchanges in Europe. It became a public entity in 1918. Some important milestones in its history include the introduction of the first electronic trading system in 1991 and the launch of derivatives trading in 1999. The global financial crisis and Greece's subsequent sovereign debt crisis pose significant challenges for the Greek economy and the Athens Stock Exchange, as it's to be expected. After Greece's economic stabilization through various reforms and agreements with the European Union, ATHEX has since focused on modernization, enhancing transparency, and attracting more international investors. In the last 3 years, ATHEX has delivered remarkable performance, ranking among the top global markets. In 2023, the market saw an increase of nearly 40%, placing it second in global rankings, just behind Nasdaq. The future of ATHEX and the Greek capital market is closely tied to several strategic plans and initiatives. Since 2022, we have implemented a new strategic plan, incorporating major initiatives aimed at securing our future. These initiatives focus on promoting ATHEX-listed companies and attracting international investment, supporting small and medium enterprises, and promoting digital transformation and innovation. This includes efforts to improve trading infrastructure, enhance regulatory compliance, and make market participation more efficient. Additionally, we're placing a strong emphasis on promoting sustainability and ESG principles. Through various initiatives, we're actively encouraging companies to adopt ESG practices and attracting investors interested in sustainable investing, while also facilitating the integration of ESG principles into company strategies. Overall, I would say that I envision ATHEX as a forward-looking and competitive European exchange, even a regional leader, and an active supporter ultimately of the Greek economy.
Greece is an important country in China's Belt and Road Initiative. Greece and China also have a very broad collaboration in many industries. Do you think we can extend our cooperation to the capital markets?
You're very right. China and Greece have established strong economic ties over the past few decades, particularly in key sectors such as shipping, infrastructure, and energy. One of the most prominent examples is the Piraeus Port Authority, where China's COSCO Shipping holds a significant stake, turning Piraeus into a major logistics hub for Europe. In addition, in 2015, the Athens Stock Exchange and the Shanghai Stock Exchange signed a memorandum of understanding, committing to facilitate the development of communication channels and to explore potential cooperation in various areas. Look, the remarkable recovery of the Athens Stock Exchange over the last 2-3 years represents a strong opportunity for deeper economic ties between the two countries, with the Greek capital market serving as a platform for future investments. There's certainly potential to further expand our economic relationship, and the Athens Stock Exchange can play a key role in facilitating this growth. The Greek capital market could facilitate it, for example, further investment by providing financing tools for infrastructure products, share capital increases, and new listings of companies in which Chinese entities have a stake. Moreover, Chinese investment banks could facilitate new listings or share capital increases for companies in strategic sectors where Chinese investors already have a presence. Such collaboration could create a pipeline of new investment opportunities, encouraging broader participation in Greece's capital markets by institutional and retail investors from China. In addition to institutional involvement, there's a significant potential to attract Chinese retail investors to the Greek capital market. The growth of Greece's stock market presents investment opportunities that could appeal to Chinese investors looking to diversify their portfolios and by investing in European assets. These investors could benefit from the robust performance of sectors tied to Greece's economic strength, such as tourism, energy, and infrastructure.
Do you have any recent discussion with any Chinese stock exchanges?
Not recently, but I think the opportunity of this interview with you, I think, has made us think that we should probably make sure that we are renewing our commitment to exchange information and exploring opportunity with our Chinese counterparts. So I think revisiting that MOU, I think it's a pretty good idea at this stage.
You also mentioned that the Greek economy has experienced very difficult times, but we also know that there are some positive developments. For example, the public debt level in Greece is shrinking. So how is the Greek economy doing right now?
After a prolonged period of economic crisis, recession, and austerity measures that lasted over a decade, the Greek economy has shown significant signs of recovery and improvement in recent years. That reduction in debt is attributed to robust economic growth, better fiscal management, and reforms aimed at enhancing Greece's creditworthiness. Greece has returned to a growth trajectory. In 23 and 24, GDP growth rates have been more than double the European average. In the second quarter of 2024, Greece recorded the highest quarter-on-quarter real GDP growth in the euro area, driven by factors such as rising tourism, increased foreign investment, and growing exports. Additionally, structural reforms in areas like infrastructure, digitalization, and energy are attracting foreign investment, further supporting the economic recovery. In recent years, Greece has benefited also from substantial European Union funding. These funds are expected to fuel economic growth over the next several years, further modernizing along the way the economy and making Greece more competitive in the global market. Finally, recently Greece has seen upgrades in its credit rating from major rating agencies like Moody's, Fitch, and S&P, which reflects increased confidence in the country's economic outlook. This has translated in turn into lower borrowing costs for Greece, allowing the government to finance its activities more efficiently and reduce the burden of public debt servicing. Looking ahead, I think the overall outlook for the Greek economy is positive. Greece is expected to experience sustained economic growth in the coming years.
I would also like you to comment on the Greek stock market. We saw it hit 13-year high earlier this year. So what is the forecast on the market?
Okay. Well, look, the Greek stock market's 13-year high earlier this year, alongside its strong performance over the last couple of years, I think it reflects a combination of positive factors that have significantly boosted investor confidence and driven market growth. Key contributors to this surge include Greece's overall economic recovery, as mentioned earlier, which has reduced the risk of economic stability and reinforced the sustainability of future growth. I generally avoid making forecasts, but I think it's worth mentioning that certain factors do suggest a positive outlook. Unless there is a major geopolitical disruption, the Greek stock market is expected to maintain an upward momentum driven by the fundamentals that we mentioned before in the Greek economy, continued economic growth, European funding, and the robust corporate earnings. These factors remain strong influences. Unlike other global markets struggling with inflation and tighter monetary policies, Greece is in a different economic cycle. Having emerged from a prolonged crisis, there is significant pent-up demand. Additionally, Greece is relatively under-leveraged compared to many other economies and benefits from a competitive labor force. In this context, I believe there will be ample growth opportunities for listed companies and the Greek capital market in general in the future.
I also know that you have a very long working experience in global financial institutions. So I want to know, what do you think of the global market right now? We have seen that there is a market crash in early August. Do you believe there is a trend change in 2024?
Over the last 3 years, we have faced an extremely challenging macro backdrop, which triggered extraordinary monetary and fiscal policy responses across the world. These interventions created a significant amount of liquidity and stimulus, which has been steadily unwinding as central banks move to combat inflation. Market participants are understandably concerned, particularly as they try to anticipate the balance between growth and inflation and how central banks will respond in the future. However, given the volatility and rapid shifts in global economic policy, I think it remains too early to declare a long-term shift. Much will depend on how inflation evolves, the pace of interest rate hikes, and how well global economies will adapt to tighter monetary conditions. So I feel it's premature to say whether this marks the start of a deeper trend reversal. We should continue, obviously, to monitor macro indicators and remain adaptable to policy changes, as economic conditions are still highly fluid.